Hello everyone. Today we're going to dive into one of the most powerful and comforting Psalms in the Bible, Psalm chapter 91. Although it was written thousands of years ago, the words in this psalm still offer us strength, protection, and hope in every challenge of life. This is not just a prayer, but a promise from God that He is always with us, protecting and shielding us in every circumstance. Absolute protection under God's shelter. Psalm chapter 91 begins with a bold and clear invitation. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. Verse 1. These words are not just comforting, they are a powerful declaration of God's absolute protection. In a world full of worry, fear, and uncertainty, Psalm chapter 91 opens up a shelter for us that cannot be shaken, God Himself. Imagine a strong, unshakable house where no storm, no matter how fierce, can tear it down. That is the picture of the protection Psalm chapter 91 offers. When you seek shelter in God, you don't just find safety, you find a priceless peace that is untouched by the struggles, challenges, or fears around you. Protection from invisible dangers. Psalm chapter 91 continues with wonderful promises of protection from dangers we can't even see. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. Verse 3. These are not only the threats we can see with our eyes but also those unseen dangers, from attacks by dark forces to the temptations and struggles of life. But in every situation, God's promise remains. He will protect and deliver us. Perhaps you've felt powerless before the challenges or trials that came from places you couldn't anticipate. But when you turn to God's shelter, you'll experience a peace like no other, a protection beyond human understanding. He doesn't just shield you from what you can see, He guards you from the dangers you cannot even perceive. Victory in God. As we face challenges in life, Psalm chapter 91 not only speaks of protection but also declares that those who trust in God will overcome every circumstance. You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day. Verse 5. The unnamed fears, the worries about the future, and the spiritual attacks that can unsettle us, Psalm chapter 91 assures us that, with God's shelter, none of these can harm us. God doesn't just protect us from trials, He gives us the strength to stand firm and win. Whenever you feel weak, unable to face what's ahead, remember that God has given you an unshakable strength. Your enemies cannot defeat you, because you are protected under the mighty wings of the Lord. Absolute protection, God's promise. And when everything seems to get harder, when you feel like you're facing a challenge that's beyond your ability to handle, Psalm chapter 91 continues with a firm promise. You will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. Verse 8. This is God's absolute protection. Nothing can harm those who seek refuge in Him. God doesn't just keep us safe from visible dangers. He helps us overcome the internal battles, the fears, and anxieties that threaten to shake our hearts. When we stand firm in faith, God will protect us from every attack of the enemy and help us live in peace and hope. The promise of salvation and comfort in times of trouble. Finally, Psalm chapter 91 concludes with an incredible promise from God Himself. He will call on me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. Verse 15. This is not just protection. It's salvation and the deep comfort God promises to give us. When we face pain, injustice, or any trial, God will always be there, offering us peace, hope, and the strength to overcome. No matter what you're facing, remember that God promises He will never leave you. When you call on Him, He will answer, stand by you in your troubles, and deliver you from them. Psalm chapter 91 is a promise from God about His protection, comfort, and salvation. It is a reminder that no matter what challenges we face in life, we always have His absolute shelter. Let Psalm chapter 91 be your daily prayer, helping you stand firm in faith and live in the protection and peace that only God can provide. Trust in His protection, because He is the Almighty, and He will always be with you, even when you feel alone or weak. Seek shelter under His wings, and you will always experience the peace He offers.